Welcome to Racing Psychology Sessions with Dr. Patrick Cohn, your mental game of racing expert.
Hi, Mario. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
Great. I really appreciate your time. I want to pick your brain a little bit here about the psychology of racing. I want to talk about the mental toughness component. You know, you have so many championships. You know, 4 Champ Car, Formula One, Daytona 500 winner, Indy 500 winner, it goes on and on. What does it take at that level in terms of what I call the mental game or the psychology of peak performance? What does it take to be a winner?
Visit RacingPsychology.com today and claim your free 10-week mental training e-course to supercharge your confidence in racing.
Well, it takes desire more than anything. It's desire and passion, and with that comes motivation, and with motivation comes your mindset as to how you go about things, and you just set your goals, and you always set very high goals, or I always did. Sometimes even unreasonable. But I think that's what you must do, because if you accept anything less, then you're gonna wind up achieving even less than that. And so it's you know, you constantly keep testing yourself and keep testing the possibilities, but at the same time, as I say, it's you're almost always in uncharted waters, and because of that, you have to go in there with a certain ambition. That I'm going to conquer this. I'm just going to get it done. I just accept no less, and it's a sort of an arrogance that you must possess, but it's within. It's not and nothing. In other words, if you would express it openly, and you will be considered exactly, look at that arrogant son of a bitch. I mean, there's no way this and that, but it's just, that's the way it has to be. Well, that's the way I always approached it anyway.
What was the motivating factor for you when you were racing and at your prime? Was it the championships? Was it getting wins? Was it notoriety? Was it just striving for excellence? You talk a lot about desire and motivation. What underlying that motivation for you?
It's all about winning. It's winning. It's not accepting anything less than that. And when you win, everything else comes around. Then you're satisfying the pride factor, and also you start winning. That obviously sends a message not only to your competitors but even yourself. You start believing, I can win races, then I can win championships, and so as far as the notoriety, well, that's totally secondary. That's the last thing that you're ever concerned about, because you cannot be noticed unless you perform anyway. I mean, you have to bring in the results, and everything else takes care of itself. We always said, just like if you're going through setbacks, in the team and the frustrations, and you feel, oh, gee, the sponsors, and then all of a sudden you start winning, everything disappears. No more headaches, no more belly aches. Your blood pressure is fine. Sponsors are happy. Checks come in on time. It's just amazing. And that's what winning does.
What was the one thing about winning for you that you really locked onto or you really enjoyed? Was it the close, having a really close race and pulling it off, or was it getting into the winner's circle?
Well, to get in the winner's circle, no matter what, I think you savor the win later as to how you got there. I think the objective at the time is to get there no matter what. I mean, if you get there by default, so be it. You'll find excuses to why you got there later. But with that, certain wins are more satisfying than others. I'll give you an example. I used to, in my career, I eyeballed Formula One, when I was just a young teenager. So when I became a professional in the sport, Formula One was very important to me. And as I broke into those ranks, the first time that I sat on pole was quite an personal achievement, and then it was magnified by the fact that I beat Jackie Stewart, and he was basically the yardstick. It was like A.J. Foyt was in the '60s in Champ Car,
right?
And so you put a lot more stock on that accomplishment. The first two races I won in Formula One, who finished second? Jackie Stewart. And then again, if you finish second and the winner happens to be A.J. Foyt or Jackie Stewart, it's still a hell of a good day. That's how you look at it. But as far as the winning, what's important? It's important to be on that podium, right on the middle slot. And then later on, you savor your victory based on how you got there. And, of course, each one is different.
Well, you talked about winning breeds other things. Other things come with winning, such as this confidence, as you call it, this internal arrogance.
Right.
Is that important to have as a racer develops, is to have that internal arrogance, that internal confidence? Is that important for success in the future then?
It's not only important, it's essential if you're going to be a winner. And it's not very common. And you just look around. You look around all competitive sports. The real winners you can count in the finger of one hand. I mean, not just the occasional winner. I mean the winners, the ones that are competitive week in and week out, game in, game out. And those are very rare. And those are the ones that accept no less. And then there are other competitors who are happy to be there. They're just, rub elbow. I rub elbow with guys that that inspire me, guys that I really look up to and all that. And I'm part of the clique and all that. That's good enough. And deep down, they just talk themselves right out of it. There's no way I can ever beat the guy. I know that's how it is, with some competitors. And that's why they never win. And so it's not a given, and to be honest with you, it's nothing that you can teach either. I'm a firm believer of that, and I'm sure this is an abstract because it would be impossible to evaluate because I just assessing through the situation, even with my own kids and watching how they approach things. Between one and the other, big differences, and it all manifests itself in life, not just at one time, as to how they go about it, how they live it, and how they're successful or not. And again, these are certain things that you're just either born with it or you're not.
Well, what comes first in racing? You have to have the confidence that you can win.
What comes first is desire. That's numero uno. You still have to have that desire, that absolute desire that becomes a passion, that you will pursue this no matter what. And then everything else.
So does the confidence come from winning, or does the confidence come from this desire?
Well, it's a combination. You have to have some quiet confidence that sometimes you even kid yourself that I can do it. But unless you press it, unless you really charge, unless you really give that much of yourself, 110%, you're not going to achieve anything. And as soon as you achieve it, then you're justified. The confidence that you had before you've proven it, now all of a sudden is fortified by the fact that you did it. And once you did it, then you go to the next step. Then you're just that much stronger mentally, because now I can do it. Now, and it will always project. And I tell you, it's and it's again, it's just all as to how whether you're prepared to accept anything less than that, And I was lucky enough that by hook or crook, I won races early on in my career, right at the beginning, and they shouldn't have. But I did, and then once you experience that, then, I made a lot of mistakes because trying to force things, because I wanted to accept no less. And sometimes it would have been okay to finish third, fourth, fifth. I didn't want to. And I was even too forceful. If I had to do things over, I would do it a little bit differently there. That's what I'm trying to teach. That's the only area that I think I can be useful, say, to my grandson now, Marco.
Right.
It was beginning his career, to say, you know what, if there's one thing I can probably be useful to you with is to help you right at this stage, not to force things unreasonably like I did. And again, I had no guidance. My dad didn't even want me to race, so I had no guidance. I had to do just things by instinct. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to learn through mistakes. These youngsters, like my son and my grandson now, they have the luxury that maybe to get a little bit of guidance, a little bit of wisdom early on that it can be helpful, and it can be also safer too.
What do you think separates the championship racers and teams from the ones that are finishing out of the top 10?
Well, I think everything that I've told you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I think it's that inbred desire to get it done, the pride of accomplishment. It's all about people. It's all about work, and I think to some degree we all have a lot of the same opportunities when it comes to what we can, as individuals, come up with as far as energy and all of that makes a difference as far as your performance.
What about focusing in the car, Mario? How important is it the ability to concentrate once you're in the car?
Well, that's 100%. I mean, if you don't have that ability, obviously you're going to give something away. It's all important. You see, you have to realize that to sustain a certain pace, to be competitive, and this is again where you separate the winners from just the competitors. The winners are those who are able to maintain that concentration, that level of concentration that will allow you to stay right on the edge of that envelope for whatever it takes. If it takes the whole race, to do it without going over. But it's very convenient, and that edge of the envelope is 100%. 101 is disaster. 100% is perfection.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
98, 99% is mediocrity.
To listen to this entire expert interview, visit Peak Sports Network and access other expert interviews and sports psychology classes.
Thanks for joining us on Racing Psychology Sessions with Dr. Patrick Cohn. Do you have a mental game of racing question for Dr. Cohn? Then visit the #1 racing psychology website at www.racingpsychology.com. While you are there, pick up our free 10-week mental training e-course to boost your mental horsepower.